What's up with the world? It's your boy CBJ. You are tuned in to the Know It All Sports Podcast. You are talking to Sleepy J and my boy,
This is the man, the myth, the legend. Call me Coach Rudy.
Coach Rudy, in the building, guys. This week we are going to go very heavy on the football, so you guys be prepared for that.
So this is a special early edition of our podcast. NFL starts this Thursday. We were like, yeah, we can't do this just an hour before a Cowboys game.
Yeah, we definitely didn't want to, cut in. I mean, we enjoy doing this. We love you guys, but when you're not trying to cut into the game, especially the kickoff of the season.
Yeah, and we want to make our picks, and y'all hear them before the game's passed.
Yes.
So y'all know that we didn't just say, hey, such and such is going to win by 78.
Exactly. Also, I do want to point out to the fact that this is our 11th episode, which it's in total. The first 3 episodes we know we weren't there, but we've been very consistent for the last few weeks. So shout outs to us for continuing the podcast. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it.
We is awesome. We is smart. And by the way, in case you didn't know, happy belated birthday, Sleepy.
Appreciate it. I've been enjoying it. Did some things. Actually, I did some relaxing. Been at the movies the past couple of days, so it's been cool.
Yeah, and hope you had a good one, bro. And unfortunately, before we get going with our NFL stuff, there's some sad news to report.
Yeah, we want to take a moment. Shout out to Michael K. Williams, his family and friends. We've enjoyed his entertainment over the years. He was part of The Wire, part of a bunch of other movies and TV shows. And, I was personally, when I found out I was in the movies, and I was like, man, I can't believe it. Just because I feel like he's been on such a good trajectory so late in his career. And I was hoping to see him actually become one of the prominent stars. Not that he wasn't a star, but I don't think he had hit his full stride to where he could be.
Yeah, I really appreciated him as an actor. His methodology or just what he put on screen always really drew me in.
Yeah.
It really invoked my emotions. So I'm definitely going to miss him. Prayers to you, man, and your family. And I hope that we don't keep seeing these things happen.
That's the unfortunate part that I realize that we're getting older. These people that we've watched our whole lives or for so long, like, oh man, I really like this guy, and they're, whether it's of old age or something else that's happened to them, you're like, dang, you find even them getting older, like, oh, happy 60th birthday, like, they're 60 because they were 25 when I first started watching them, and you're just like, oh, I guess I am, in my 30s now, and it would only make sense that they're getting older too. So,
but great actor, gone too soon.
Definitely. And he had his hands. He was helping with the community, so I know that's going to be a lot for people to try and, not necessarily move on, but to just try and continue that legacy. But enough of that. We're going to move on with these sports.
So we promised you FS or BS.
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead and start with that before we really get the ball rolling with the picks and everything for the NFL this week. But we'll throw up a softball first. So just a little bit before we got on air, I was reading that the Saints cut their backup running back, Latavius Murray. So first question for you on this, FS or BS. The Saints will regret cutting running back Latavius Murray just because he refused to take a pay cut. It was $3.1 million that he was due.
I'm going to say BS. I don't think that they're going to regret it. I still believe in Kamara, and I think they got enough talent to because he was a third option, right?
Second option.
Was he the second option? I still don't think. I think it'll be fine. I think they'll have someone else already to go. I mean, he's, historically speaking, Latavius Murray is a good,
solid running back.
Yeah, he is. I don't know how much they were asking him to cut, so maybe they will.
I mean, he wasn't making much. He was only making 3.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how much they were asking him to cut, so I don't know. I
can't blame the man.
Yeah.
Look, you
I don't
work
blame anybody
hard.
for not getting their money.
Look, you work hard, you get that contract, and you say, "Look, I'm a risk my livelihood playing for you."
It's very unfortunate for athletes in general, especially in football, that by the time you get the money that you should be getting, you're probably on the latter end of your
For a lot of positions.
yeah,
A running back being one of those.
and then
So
you probably don't gonna get another chance to get another payday. So
I'm gonna say for sure. I think they'll regret it, and a lot of that comes because I believe that Kamara will get injured again. I
yeah,
They have a bad offensive line. I understand they went to the playoffs last year,
yeah,
but it was on Drew Brees' last run. Michael Thomas was still not unhappy yet, and now he is unhappy. So you're possibly without your Hall of Fame quarterback,
yes.
without a number one true receiver
So this might
this
be his
year,
blessing, though.
and with Kamara still question mark,
Yeah, but I mean, this might be his blessing to be cut, just because
he can find another team
you can
that's going to
find
use him.
you can find another team, and also like when you all everything you just pointed out. We still don't know the quarterback situation. I guess for Jameson Winston's
Jameis is
gonna,
starter.
is going to be the starter. So you don't really know. He doesn't have any threats to throw the ball. You don't have the line. You're going to run yourself ragged. So, bad news to me for being cut, but good news for me because now I can hopefully land on a team that could utilize me better, and I won't be as banged up by the end of the season, especially with the extra week.
Yeah, I think Latavius will land somewhere just fine. You'll see injuries throughout this season, so even if he doesn't go right away,
Yeah.
I don't think that he's in a bad position.
No, I mean, where would you like to
Unfortunate.
see him go? Like, who do you think could use him?
I've been a fan of his throughout his career. So when he was in Minnesota,
I've used him in my fantasy a few times.
exactly that was how I became a fan of his.
Yeah.
He was very successful in fantasy as far as if you didn't have a number one. He was very solid and consistent. So that made me watch him.
Yeah.
I like him as a running back. I think he's really good. I would like him. I just want him in a good spot. So
Yeah.
whoever's winning and wants him, I would like him there because I think he can help any team out. I think him going to LA would be a viable spot.
Yeah.
Going over there with Stafford just to add to their running back depth.
Yeah.
But there's been a couple teams who have lost running backs.
Yeah.
Who was it that's out for the year? It was supposed to be a starter.
A running back that's out?
Yeah.
Can't really.
I don't know. We were doing the fantasy draft the other day, and he was one of the top players.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about because I can picture it, but I can't think of the name.
Yeah. But, I mean, there's some injuries out there, so
Yeah.
I just want him to be in a good spot because he don't have very many years left.
So a team that I don't know their running back situation off the top of my head, but I think anywhere. I think Arizona. I feel like Arizona is the team where you go, like, you get an extended career. Like, there's two teams that I think that if you're gonna get at least one last flare in your older career as far as for football, it's the Patriots in Arizona.
Well, a lot of times people say Dallas.
Dallas,
They come here to resurrect their careers. If they were a star at one
Yeah,
point.
I mean, but to get yourself a better contract, you come here, you do well, you can get a better contract somewhere else and be a better contender. I say Arizona because ever since Emmett went there, I've noticed a lot of players have gone there. Kurt Warner went there, had a decent run. Peterson,
Carson Palmer.
yeah, a lot of people go there. I mean, you at least can make it to a couple playoff runs while you're there. Is what I'm saying. Like, you might not necessarily make it to the Super Bowl, but at least that's a lot closer than ending up on like Cleveland or Detroit or something like that.
Yeah, I mean that's true.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I don't know. We could see. Like, hopefully he ends up on a good team and he's able to ball this year. That's a lot of the players that I like. That's what I want, at least for them to at least come out and have a playing season that's actually decent.
Yeah. I mean that's what you hope for. You want the best for these fellas. So now we'll move on to the next question. FS or BS? Both Cam Newton and the New England Patriots gave each other their best effort for success.
You go first.
I say BS. I don't believe that Cam gave his best effort strictly on the idea that he didn't get his COVID shot.
Okay.
Now, outside of that, I think he was trying really well. But it just goes back to that statement that Michael Irvin said about a month ago
Yeah.
that I've been backing up. That you can't tell me that you're doing everything to succeed
I see that argument.
if you're not doing everything to succeed.
So, um, in my mindset, I'm not even taking the COVID stances because I know everyone has their beliefs, and I don't argue with people because for the most part, I understand some of the arguments on both sides. Some of them, not all of them. But as far as for that, I just, as I've said before, I'm gonna say that I can't call it for sure that they both did because I don't know that the Patriots gave him everything, but I do think that, as I've said before, I just have been out on Cam since like 2018. I just don't think he's the Cam of 2015 since then, and so I think he gave them everything. I just don't think he's as good as they thought he was going to be, and so they just parted ways like you would do any player in the NFL or any sport. Like if you're not what I need you to be or want you to be, we have to part ways.
Yeah. I mean, I feel you on that. Okay, so sticking with this football stuff, generally speaking, after the Super Bowl, the losing team over the last 15 years has a tendency of falling off the face of the earth and missing the playoffs. Yes. But the reason I'm going to pose this question is because the Super Bowl winner of last year is old as hell. So, because they're old as hell and the Super Bowl loser is like hitting still in their prime.
Yes.
My FS or BS for this is either the Bucks or the Chiefs will miss the playoffs.
Either one of them.
For show or BS?
I'm gonna go BS. I don't think either one of them I think they're both gonna make a run.
Now you do realize that every year you have at least 4 teams that made the playoffs.
Yes. Here's the thing: Kansas City's been on point the last few years. I don't see them dropping.
Falling out.
Yeah.
Now, even though their coaching staff has been in turmoil, you remember last year, right after the Super Bowl, one of the assistant coaches, the head coach's son, had some drug charges, and they've had some issues in house.
Yeah, I think that the team is healthy. I expect them to. I'm hoping. I'm not gonna say. I'm expecting a serious run for them. This is just the St. Louis, Missouri, and me rooting for the home team.
I thought y'all hated Kansas City.
Listen, I hate the Rams. I hated the Rams when they were there, and I hate them afterwards. So, I mean, and I'm a big fan of Mahomes by himself, so I want him to be able to say, like, yeah, I've been to some multiple Super Bowls, whether he wins or not.
So you got BS on it.
And also,
I'm going to tell you the reason I'm going to say BS, and it won't shock me if the Bucks miss, to be honest. But the reason I'm going to say BS is because we're adding 2 more teams to the playoffs.
Okay.
So because we're adding 2 more wild card teams this year, that 7th team in each conference, that's why I'm going to say BS. Because some of those teams that missed the playoffs, that were in the Super Bowl the previous year, they really just missed it barely. Yeah. A lot of those teams barely missed it. Now, some of them were just dog poop.
Yeah,
but
the other thing that
at least half of them would have made it.
People don't pay attention to wild cards win. Like, you think just because they're the wild card, they're not necessarily going to go and win. But, I mean, we've seen it happen before. You forget about it, but it happens.
I mean, the Bucks, they were a wild card team last year. Yeah. They were not their division winner.
Here's the thing that I'm actually if I was to say that there was a team that's going to be questionable out of the 2 from last year that went to the Super Bowl, it's the Bucks, and it's because
they're old as hell.
Yes, and Brady's over here talking about I take my knee brace off and I feel better than ever and I can run again. I feel like that's asking to get hurt.
Yeah, look. Well, we'll get into it in a second. Let's continue with this FS or BS.
All right.
So the Cowboys are a top 3 talented NFL club.
Going
now,
undefeated. I'm joking.
Now,
I'm joking.
This isn't coming from my assessment of it. This was I don't know who it was that put it out.
I think
there.
it was NFL All Sports. I don't know, someone.
Oh, so some website put it out where they listed
NFL
the
All Pros. I think
Cowboys
is who it was.
as the 3rd most talented team in the NFL.
Yeah.
Now, they didn't list all 32 teams. I think they had like a top 6 or 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
And they had the Cowboys there at 3rd. And there was a lot of people that were upset about this.
Yes.
Thinking there's no way it's possible. So, before we get into whether it's possible or not, FS or BS?
Now, this is just a talent, right? We're not saying that they're
Talent.
going. Yeah.
That's the key right there.
I'm
That's
gonna-
why I can't be mad at it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, if we're just on paper, this goes back to when we've talked about the Browns in the past. On paper, they're an amazing team. There's no reason why you wouldn't think they were going to win. I could look at the Cowboys' talent.
And talent doesn't include coaching.
Yeah.
So coaches can really mess you up.
Yeah. Coaching could mess you up. I mean, there's anything.
Injuries can mess you up.
Exactly.
There's a whole slew of things. So, yeah. So, you say for sure that they're top 3?
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know that I would have put them there. Like
Right.
I haven't gone through all the teams to assess
look at
all
their
rosters
whole,
and everything.
yeah, that's why I
But-
said I could see it. I don't necessarily.
But when I look at it, just looking at the offense, Dak, top 5 quarterback.
Yeah.
Zeke, top 5 running back.
Right.
Amari, I think he's a top 5 wideout or at least top 10.
I was just saying, I would call him in the top 10.
And then you got CeeDee Lamb. I think he's approaching that.
Yeah.
I think Michael Gallup is right there. So that's 5 players. That's without me mentioning Tyron Smith's talent,
Right.
Zach Martin's talent, Connor Williams' talent, or anybody else on the offensive line.
Right.
So when I look at the offense, you're not going to find too many teams who
That
have
are
more
stacked on
talent
paper. Yeah.
on the offensive side than the Cowboys.
Right.
Now, when you're looking at defense,
Right.
you say, okay, well, we sucked on defense. I'm not going to argue that we didn't suck last year. The Cowboys didn't suck last year. But I will say Diggs is talented as can be.
Right.
So when you're looking at a corner, that's a very talented player.
Right.
You can look at Van Der Esch, very talented.
Right.
Injury prone, but very talented.
I feel like that's. I mean, it's fitting.
You can look
you
at-
had Sean Lee that was on there for fucking ever. It was-
Exactly. You can look at Jalen Smith, very talented. People
Yeah.
can say, yeah, he sucks. No, but he's talented. That's a different subject, whether
Right.
he's matching his talent or not. And then you can say the Michael Parsons,
Right.
very talented. DeMarcus Lawrence, very talented.
Right.
Now, so when I'm looking at the defense, half of my defense
right.
is extremely talented.
Yeah.
And generally, if you have that, you're like, we're in a good spot.
Yeah, if you, especially, it's like anything. Like if you look, depending on how you're looking at, it, what are you grading it on? What are we looking at? If you're looking at stats at the end of the year, but if we're looking preseason, and we haven't seen anybody get hurt. We're just going
Exactly.
off of speculation on things from the past. It's Gary Owen used to say that his favorite game of the year was kickoff game for every team because everyone's going to the Super Bowl the start of the season. Before the game starts, every team is going to the
Has
Super
a
Bowl.
chance,
And that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the talent. You're going to sit there and say, like, how do you – I mean, any team could –
Now, we're not saying does the talent match? Is the
Yeah.
talent in the right scheme? Do the
Right.
coaches maximize their
do
talent?
Do the coaches know who
should
how to
be
use
put
them
in?
properly, when
Yeah.
to put them in? Yeah.
Are they putting them in a position to succeed or not? No, that's
Mm-hmm.
not the question.
Yeah.
Are they the third most talented?
Yeah. Do
I'll
they
say
have the
for
speed?
sure.
Do they have the speed to get to where they need to be? Do they have
Yeah.
the right arm to throw it to them? Like, all of that. It's very broad. It's not specific in what they're
Exactly.
saying.
And because of that, I'll say for sure.
Yeah.
Real quick, we got one more FS or BS thing. If you're wondering why we're using such an outdated term as for show, it's all my fault. Jay wanted to change it like way back when I first introduced it, and I was like, no, that's what I do. I speak in words and verbiage that isn't used before. So if you hear me quoting Shakespeare, I think I might have already done that before. It's just because I'm old and I do that stuff. And even though I may not be really old, my mind is. So
Yeah, I guess you would call it eclectic. Like, he's got an eclectic mind where what he finds is cool, whether it's from this time period or not.
30 years ago,
Yeah.
I will still use it.
Yeah, so.
That's why I still wear Levi's.
Versus me, I try to stay up to date with everything. But, I'm getting older, I guess.
He's old. All right. So, look, so that's that. Now, the last one is a baseball one. Now, forgive me if I mispronounce his name because I'm not good at pronouncing names in any language. So,
especially English.
Shohei Ohtani, rather.
We'll call him Ohtani.
Is the best player in all of major sports in his respective sport. If you don't know who he is, then you haven't watched baseball or care about baseball. Right now, this guy leads the majors in home runs. He has 43. But what makes him special is not only that he has that, he's also pitching. Now, Babe Ruth was a pitcher and a hitter. And in National League Baseball, pitchers do hit, but they rest on the days they're not pitching.
Right.
Well, this fella is not resting on days he's not pitching, so that's why he has 43 homers.
Right.
So because he is pitching and his ERA is less than 3, and he's got 9 wins already on the season, so he might end up with 15 wins this year.
Right.
That's a decent amount of wins. So I posed the question: is he the best player in all of major sports?
I wouldn't. Yeah, I would say that today, like, for sure. Today, right now, with what we're looking at, like, why wouldn't you? Like, what argument do you have against that right now?
I don't. Look, I'm not gonna argue with you just to argue with you.
Yeah.
We can look at basketball, but I don't think we have a clear cut who's the best right now. So many people are saying Kevin Durant, yet the Greek Freak won the championship this year.
Right.
Then people say, well, Harden's the best. And people say, Luka, did you see what he did? So I think people are still going to be saying, well, LeBron and Steph Curry. If you have that many great players
to argue against,
to me, it's like, okay, well, we don't have a clear cut in basketball. You're going to look at football. People are going to say, well, Patrick Mahomes. And then someone's going to argue Aaron Donald.
Right.
He's a beast. He's by far the best at his position. And then people who say, well, Mahomes is clearly the best. Well, then how come Aaron Rodgers won the MVP last year as a quarterback?
Right.
You know, there's going to be all this back and forth. So because there's no clear-cut NFL one, I think right now you got to go with this. Now, if you're going to throw out something about soccer, forget you. This is not a soccer football program. We reject you. Or something like that.
And for a long time they would say that about Floyd being that in boxing, and I strongly disagreed with that back then. And there's not anyone in boxing right now that you could say, like, oh yeah, he's
Canelo.
Yeah, but he's I don't know. There's non-boxers that are going his.
Well, I say you could say Canelo, but at the same time, boxing isn't as big as the other major sports anymore. It used to be.
which is kind of weird because I think even UFC is starting to go down now.
It is. It definitely is.
So I think people are starting to get tired of the fighting sports or something, or they're just losing interest. I don't know. I don't know if it's a boring like contact. Those contact sports are getting like.
Well, you know my beef with it. These guys are way more talented than what they put out there. To me, too often when I see a UFC fight, it's I guess.
Yeah.
It's just not entertaining.
Yeah,
I know they're better fighters than what they put out.
I think a lot of those sports are lacking personality. What we liked about the boxers of past were very loud, along with the fights they won.
And they were dominant.
Yeah,
like you had domination, and right now you don't have a guy in the UFC that's 50-0.
Yeah, you have a fighter that's won like 4 fights and they were impressive, and then they lose, and then somebody else comes along and wins 4 or 5 more fights, and yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
even their most prominent fighter right now has lost 5 in a row or something like that. So
with the personality, he's got the personality, but he's not winning. So there's that. But so I mean, we'll say for sure on that topic, and we'll move on. We're gonna move on to picking who's gonna win.
Dun dun dun. All right, first and foremost, well, you know what? We'll do the Cowboy game last because it's gonna be the first one up.
Okay.
All right, so we'll go reverse order. Let's start with Monday Night Football.
Okay.
You got the Ravens at the Raiders. Now, the Ravens are favored by 4.5 points. Now, I don't know how big you are into the point thing. I mean, I know you understand it.
Yes.
But I don't know if that sways you anyway.
No,
For me, it's more home versus on the road.
Okay.
That is more likely to sway me than what Vegas thinks. Even though I respect,
I think
their
Vegas
point.
knows a lot, and it's not wrong to necessarily go with their beliefs on who's going to win or not.
A lot of times it's just where they think more people will bet, and that's why they do the.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't necessarily say that it's wrong, but I'm going to say Ravens win that, but I just think for me. I think the team has they're just a better team on paper for me.
Okay, so you got the Ravens. I also got the Ravens. Now, I went through this list and I put a check mark next to the team that I thought was going to win. Jay doesn't know what I'm picking.
I do not. I'm actually letting him read them to me, and I'm just going off of whenever he says
he's going off the dome. So if we end up agreeing on 90% of them, it's coincidental.
Yes.
All right. Bears at Rams. The Rams are favored by 7.5.
I'm gonna go with the underdog on this because I like Dalton. I like some of their offensive players, and for my fantasy, I have some of them. So I'm going with the Bears. And again, I don't like the Rams, so I am gonna go that way.
And I got the Rams, and it's more of they're at home.
Yes.
I will lean towards the home team a lot of times.
Yes.
So
I mean, because typically teams play better, or they try to play their best when they're at home versus when they're on the road. Not to say they're not trying on the road, but you don't want to upset your fan base at home.
It hurts more to get booed by your own fans than it does by somebody else's.
Yeah. But I mean, for the Rams, as much as I hate to say it, like they've done a very good. I mean, their coaching does a great job of like keeping good talent around them.
I like their quarterback.
Yeah, I didn't realize how old he was.
Stafford?
Yeah, like I didn't realize. I mean, I know he's been around for a while, but it didn't register that he's as old as he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because to me, he's still a young quarterback.
Because he was in Detroit and you forgot about him. And then he missed a couple seasons here and there because he was hurt. But
yeah.
I'll take Stafford with the Rams. Now, if we would have had the Rams' previous quarterback there, Goff, I wouldn't be taking them, even them being at home. I like Stafford. I think he's a difference maker. And I like Dalton, too, as far as I think he's solid.
Yeah.
And Chicago's defense is good. But somebody's got to win the game. Yes, it
Yes.
could end in a tie, but somebody's got to win the game. And because of that, I'm going to lean towards the home team. I'm going
Yeah.
to lean towards Stafford. And I actually expect him to do pretty well in this game.
In that trade for Goff and Stafford, I think Stafford got the better end of that. I am going to be paying attention to them personally on both teams, just because I'm intrigued by this trade. Like I
To
thought
see
Goff
where
was
they go.
yeah. Like I actually think Goff is decent. I just know that Detroit has I don't know. I think Detroit's ruined themselves by constantly letting some of their premier players either retire or not building enough around those players
I think it's a lack
or trading them. I mean,
of getting good coaches.
yeah,
You have good players there, but some of that is Stafford making these receivers into good receivers or putting them in a great
do you
position
think
to
he's
succeed.
Romo-esque? Like the receivers were good, but it was kind of both of them making each other good. And I say that because recently Dez said that they both made each other good.
I gotta say yes, but a couple years ago, not last year, year before, I was watching Stafford
Yeah,
play. Detroit seemed to be on TV like every week for 2 months, and so I caught a lot of him playing. And I've wanted to hate Stafford for most of his career,
yeah,
and it was easy too early on when he had Megatron and you were giving credit to Megatron.
yeah.
But my God, he's
got
a
an arm.
good quarterback.
Yeah.
He's got a heck of an arm.
That's honestly
And-
why I like him. He's
and
got
if
an
he
arm.
don't get hurt, I think he is the best quarterback we've seen in 25 years, and that's with Peyton Manning and
Right.
Brady and Breeze, but he got hurt. He got
Right.
hurt often, so because of that, he's not in their same breath. But the dude is good. The
Yeah.
dude is damn good.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised to see a solid season for the Rams with him like throwing for them.
Yeah. Well,
And
just both of those teams were wild card teams last year.
yeah,
It always hurts to lose early,
yeah,
but you got 14 teams that made it, so you're bound to have some playoff teams facing each other. The Ravens, we both picked them, and they were in the playoffs last year.
yeah.
Look, next week maybe we'll hit on which playoff teams are missing the playoffs, but right now, I got the Rams, you got the Bears. Let's move on to the next game.
Okay.
Packers are favored by 4 over the Saints.
Yeah, I'm going Packers, and that's only because again, new quarterback in New Orleans. We're still trying to. There's a lot of growth as we talked about Murray being cut.
So lack of depth at running back, lack of depth at receiver. That whole Michael Thomas being upset thing, not wanting to show up. So I got the Packers also. I'm a hater. I don't like Aaron Rodgers. He is one of my quarterbacks on my fantasy team.
And
I
I'm
respect
a big
him.
Rodgers fan.
I hate him. I don't like him. Do I have a good reason? No. But I don't
He's on
like
Green
the
Bay.
man.
I mean,
He has a face of someone you shouldn't like.
he's got a face you want to punch.
Yeah. Some people automatically say any quarterback's a good-looking fella just because they're rich. I disagree. I think he's ugly.
What quarterbacks do you think are good looking?
I don't know, but not him. I can say Dak's a good-looking fella.
You guys heard it here
good-looking-
first. Rudy's over here looking at.
I said what I said.
No, it's funny because I was at work and I was telling.
Yeah, that is funny.
I was telling one of my coworkers, like, I don't like this guy. He's got a face that I just want to punch. I was like, like the.
And they said, "Stop looking in the mirror, Jay."
No. But and I was like, I looked at him, and it's funny. I looked at him. I was like, he reminds me of this kid I went to school with, this kid Joel, and I wanted to punch him in the face because he was kind of a douche. I was like, so therefore, this guy having a similar face, I wanted to punch him in the face. Has nothing to do with the story other than a punchable face.
It is what it is. All right, so we both got the pack. Both these teams were division champs last year.
Yes.
So one of them's going to start off on a bad foot. And this is how a lot of times these teams that made the playoffs the year before miss. Because they get one.
At what point do you start panicking for a team that starts out losing?
Depends on the team. Now, I will generally say this. In the first 4 games,
yes,
I don't care what your record is so long as you get one win.
So you need at least one win in the first 4 weeks?
Yes. Okay. That's my feeling because I think the first game is a coin toss. I don't care how good you were.
Someone's got to win, someone's got to lose.
Exactly. The second game, once again, we're still finding our rhythm.
Yes.
So after 4 games, you have your rhythm or you don't.
It's too easy to get stuck in the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think so long as you win one of your first 4, you want to win 2.
Right.
But
at the very least, you want to start out 50-50.
Yeah. But outside of that, I say you just need to win 1.
So you don't think like winning the first week is like a mandatory to have a good season?
End all be all, not by any means, no.
I know that because there's some people that have that. I know for me personally, I'm more of like, if you haven't started at least once by the 5th game, like you're pretty much, your season's probably shot.
I mean, generally speaking, if you start off 0-4, I think like 2 teams have made the playoffs after starting that. But my 1-3 logic isn't based off of a ton of stats per se. I mean, I'm sure it's supported by stats of wins, losses. But what I've seen over the years is teams start off 0-2 and then get rolling. Now, it didn't really start happening until that, 93 Cowboys team did that. And there's only been a couple of teams who lost their first 2 games and then won the Super Bowl. Yeah. But I'm not even talking about Super Bowl success. Right. I'm talking about success
I'm just talking
throughout
about
the
season,
getting to the playoffs or competing for the playoffs. Right. So if you have at least 1 win in your first 4, you're fine. Well, we've seen a couple times teams start off 6-0 and miss.
Right.
So I'm not sweating it drastically. I'm saying get 1 win. Now, if you're getting beat 35-0, 35-2,
right,
the first, each of the first 4 games, then you got a problem.
Right.
But you lose 17-14, turn around the next week, lose 30-29.
For me,
I'm not scared yet.
You have to be, if you're at least competitive in those games, I'm not really concerned. Like,
so even if you win 1 or 2, right?
Yeah. Like, well, even if you lose them, but you're just like, oh, we lost by a touchdown or less, then you could chalk it up as like, well, you were fighting. You got to make some adjustments on the team. Maybe you're a new coach and you're trying to figure it out. If that's the case, then I'm not necessarily sweating it. But
there's reasons that can be,
yeah.
Okay, so Dolphins at Patriots. Patriots are favored by 3.
Dolphins and the Patriots?
Yeah. Remember, Patriots are starting a rookie for quarterback. And you hate rookies. Yeah, I'm trying to sway him.
Isn't Tua starting?
Yeah, but he's not a rookie.
He's not? I thought he was. Okay.
No, last year he was a rookie.
Okay. I'm going to go... Because I don't like the Patriots, I'm going Miami.
So, I'm going Miami, even though it is in Foxborough. Mm-hmm. But it really has to do with that rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
Neither of these teams made the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
I wanted to say Dolphins won 10 games or something.
Low key, I've wanted Miami to just come out and smack some mouth on the field, and so I always start out hopeful for them every year.
Yeah, I like them. I think I've liked them since Marino was their quarterback.
Yeah.
So, all right, we both got the Dolphins. So far, the only game we disagree with is the Bears-Rams. Browns at Chiefs. Browns were a wild card team last year. Chiefs won the division.
Do we even have to say this one? We both speak highly of the Chiefs.
If it was in Cleveland, I would give Cleveland a puncher's chance. And I'm
So
not saying that the game might not be close, but the fact that it's in Kansas City
yeah,
and the Chiefs historically have had one of the better home field advantages,
yeah.
to me, even if I'm not taking the 6 points that the Chiefs are favored by, I still would put money that the Chiefs are going to win this game.
Here's the thing for me. Uh,
You hate the Browns.
I have, but actually, I liked a lot of the talent they have. I actually think that there's still a lot of question marks for their talent right now. Baker Mayfield being a question. You have Jarvis coming off of an injury. So those things to me are just questionable. And then even I don't even know if Odell's going to be playing. So all those things, it just there's not really a whole lot to argue that's in their favor right now.
I mean, they got a good running game.
Yeah,
They got Chubb
and
and
Hunt.
Kareem Hunt.
Yeah,
Probably the best two running backs on any team.
I've been debating. I don't know if I should put Hunt in on my fantasy team or not. I keep going back and forth because I don't know if he's
Your
gonna get the ball.
fantasy team sucks, so I would put him in. I was actually looking to draft him as my third running back, but then you stole him from me. So that's why nobody likes you. Jags are favored by 2.5 at the Texans. Because Deshaun Watson's not playing, I got the Jags all day, every day.
Yeah,
And I think they're going to be a solid team this year.
so I'm sad to say, man, the Houstons have some talent
The
on their team,
Houstons.
huh?
You just said the Houstons.
The Texans, sorry.
Jesus.
They have some talent on their team.
Really? Where?
Don't they have who is it? I have someone
The
on
receiver left.
there. Who?
Hopkins.
Don't they have
Hopkins is in Arizona.
Yeah, but they got Cooks. I like Cooks.
Houston ain't got nothing, man.
And who's their running back? They have a decent
Exactly.
I don't know. I like Cooks.
They had Johnson. I think he's still there.
Yeah. Without Deshaun there, I just don't see.
Look, even with Deshaun there, they only won 4 games last year.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can expect it.
Hopkins.
Like, I think the Texans are the team. If you're in a pick'em, I'm always picking anyone who's playing the Texans this year for the most part.
Really?
Yeah, they're in a bad position.
Oh, they did get rid of some of their defense players too. Yeah. Well, the Jags, I don't know what to say about it. Like, it is what it is.
All right, the Jets are at the Panthers.
Jets,
Panthers are favored by 5. A
Um,
lot of people think that the Jets are going to be the worst team in football.
think so.
That's what a lot of people are saying. I'm not saying that's what I say. I'm saying that's what a lot of people are saying.
I've seen small glimpses in the Jets in the last few years, but I don't know if they're gonna. I'm gonna go with the other team. I don't think that they're gonna.
You got the Panthers?
Yeah.
All right, good for you. I think you're wrong. I'm picking the Jets to upset them. And I only call it an upset because the Panthers are favored.
Yeah.
I honestly think they're both the same team.
Yeah. I don't really care for. Yeah.
All right,
Fuck the
Seahawks are favored by 2.5 over the Colts. At the Colts.
I'm gonna go Colts on this one.
All right, so now we got some dissent. You got the Colts. I got the Seahawks. Why you got the Colts?
Because I like Naheem Hines.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's it.
And
I like Marlon Mack.
I think the Seahawks have a decent defense and a better quarterback. I like the Colts defense. I really do.
Yeah.
I think they got the better defense of the two teams. But I don't know what they have offensively that's going to be able to hang with the weapons that that are in Seattle, even though their offense coordinator doesn't let them fly. You know?
Yeah.
I think that Seattle's going to pull it off. I could be wrong, but I
I
would bet
mean,
Seattle.
the smart money would be Seattle. If you guys don't know, there'll be a handful of times where I know the smart money is on the other team, and I will still go with the underdog just because of either I don't like one player or another. Um, Seattle is, to me, it's a 50-50 anytime for the last few years. I don't know if they're I've never been one like, oh, they're really decent. Even when they are really decent, I've never been completely sold on them. Um, and for Indy, I
Now
know they've
last
had a lot
year,
of bumps and
now
bruises.
last year Seattle did win their division, and the Colts did make the playoffs as a wild card. Just
Yes, but
reminder.
for the Colts, they've had a lot of bumps and bruises, and I'm just kind of going with the underdog for that purpose. Like I just kind of want to see them turn the ship around.
All right. So the Cardinals at the Titans. The Titans are favored by 3.
That's a tough one.
I think it's an easy one. I got the Titans.
Yeah, I like Kyler Murray, but I'm gonna go with Kyler. I'm gonna go with Arizona.
Okay.
But again, I think the smart money in this situation is going the Titans.
As you are hearing, he is not smart.
Again, I'm not betting money on this. I'm telling you.
I haven't told you. We'll get to that in a second. All right. The Niners are favored by 7.5 over the Lions. I'm going to say this. I would not take the 7.5 point spread for the 49ers.
I'm gonna, again, as I've said earlier, I'm gonna go with the Lions. I think Goff is better than people give him credit for. Um, they have a couple people on the team. I'm really curious to see who's gonna do better out of these two teams in that trade. So
I think it'll be a close game, but I got the Niners. I don't have them because I think that they're 7.5 points better.
yeah,
I have them because I think heads up, even though it is in Detroit, Detroit still sucks and has a tendency of blowing games. So
I'm gonna go.
I'll get the Niners.
I think it's gonna be to me, talent wise, I'm looking at is their tight end positions on both sides. I like Kittle. I like Hawkinson. So it's gonna be to me for them.
So you like the 49ers players, but you're going to be going for...
I like golf.
All right, whatever. You don't make any sense, bro. All right, we got the Vikings at the Bengals. Vikings are favored by 3.
Vikings and who?
Cincinnati Bengals.
I'm gonna go Vikings.
Because you've always hated the Bengals.
Yes.
I like the Vikings head coach. I'm going to go with the Vikings. Steelers at Bills. The Bills are favored by 6.5. Now, I will say this. A few weeks ago, you and I were talking and saying that we don't think that the Bills are going to be as good as what they were the year before.
Yes.
Now, that said, both of these teams won their divisions last year, and one of them has to win this game, unless it's a tie. I just think that the Steelers are going to fall off worse than what the Bills are. So, for this game, I got the Bills.
Yeah, I have to go with the Bills on this.
All right.
I'm going with the Bills because of I feel like
Because
they have more talent.
the quarterback in the Steelers is as old as I am, if
Yeah.
not older.
I think he's a little bit older, ain't he?
Maybe a year. He's older than you, for sure. The Chargers are favored by 1 over Washington. But they're playing in Washington.
I don't like the Reds or the Washington team, so I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
I like Washington's defense. I think with the Chargers having to travel all the way across the country, that usually bodes well or bad for that team.
Yeah.
West Coast coming to the East Coast.
Yeah.
Because of that, and because of Washington's defense, I got Washington. Broncos are favored by 3 at the Giants.
I'm going with the Broncos, even though I think they have a horrible line.
Okay. I got the Giants.
Yeah.
And it has a lot to do with the fact that I don't know who's on that Broncos team. at any given point because they go through so many
They run
players.
through. Yeah.
They haven't built any continuity. Since Peyton Manning left, this team has been god awful.
You know what? That's what it is. I think it's crazy that so many of their team goes to Texans. Like I feel like the Texans have a pact to like, hey, if we don't want them, will you take them? I don't know who, but
yeah,
like,
Trevor Siemian, their quarterback, went from there to Houston. Yeah.
I think
and
Phillips,
some defensive players.
What is his name? Their running back, Lindsey Phillip or whatever, or Philip Lindsey, whatever.
Did he go there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sutton.
So yeah. I got the Giants. Doesn't mean that I think that the Giants are going to be a good team because I think they're going to be god awful.
I think the Giants are in the NFC East. The Giants are a team that I feel like that's a gimme team.
It just happened to be that the teams that they're facing are coming from the West.
Yeah.
That I'm having to choose the Washingtons and the Giants.
Yeah.
The Eagles and the Falcons in Atlanta. Atlanta's favored by 3.
I'm gonna go with Atlanta. I think their talent is better than the Eagles.
The Eagles. Yeah, the Eagles are already beat up. They're a bad team right now.
I think that a few years ago they did a lot of trades that just really hurt them, and they never really recovered from it.
Well, when your quarterback isn't producing,
yeah,
and then getting hurt, and then you're shuffling quarterbacks, you're not building your team. You're playing players, but you're not building your team. So they're in that horrible position that they haven't been building for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
So they're bound to regress.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that their new quarterback isn't better than their old quarterback. I'm just saying they're not in a good position yet.
Yeah.
So right now, I got to take the Falcons. So last one, the Dallas Cowboys are at Tampa Bay.
Yes.
The Bucks are favored by 8 points.
Dang.
Who you got?
Okay. Here you go, guys. This is where I hate it. I think the smart money is on the Bucks. I'm going with my boys because I feel like they need this win. I feel like, then even if they win, which it's unlikely because of so many factors to that.
Zach Martin might play. All he needs is 2 negative COVID tests between now and tomorrow.
It's not even Zach Martin that makes me think this. Like, even with him playing, Dak having not played at all during the preseason, factoring into this, mostly that's the biggest factor for me. But I feel like I really want them to win because everyone is all over Brady and saying that there's no chance for them to win. So I'm like the diehard Cowboy in me is like, yes, I need them to win so they can say fuck everybody. But at this point, like when I was asking about if you think it matters, win or lose, I think the Cowboys still have a winning season, even if they lose or whatever on this game.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Cowboys. And I know a lot of you guys are like, of course you're picking the Cowboys. Now, here's the thing. I already told you about an hour ago when we started this podcast that I think Tampa Bay is old.
Yes.
They started off 7-5 last year with the oldest quarterback in the league. They got an old running back. I like Fournette. I do. I think he's a good player, an all-time good player.
Yes.
That said, he is past his prime too. He is injury prone.
Yes.
Even with the studs of receivers that were there last year, Tom Brady did not give them massive numbers. Their tight end in Gronk, he's not the old Gronk.
Right.
He's an old Gronk. Brown a couple years ago was the best receiver in the game. Last year, he didn't necessarily look like it.
Right.
Mike Evans is a forgotten receiver that does really well. Last year, he did okay. The team started off 7-5 last year. Yes, they finished off winning the Super Bowl. But when I see them, I see an old team that got older.
Yes.
And because they returned all 22 and didn't get younger at any positions in their starting squad, I can't say they're automatically going to be better. These aren't guys that are in their prime. These are guys past their prime.
Right.
So because of that, I got the Cowboys, who are a team filled with guys in their prime. Yes. Amari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, Lawrence. I think you got too many guys on the Cowboys who are in their prime.
Yeah.
To think, first off, if it was just on the points, I'd get Dallas all day. I'd feel even more comfortable with that. But heads up, I'm going to get Dallas on this one. Now, this is what I was going to tell you. Let's look at who has the best win-loss every week.
Okay.
And loser has to do something stupid. Not outrageously stupid.
So you want to propose a wager for the season after we've just did all these picks?
Week by week.
Oh, each week we have to do something stupid.
Or we can do quarter by quarter every 4 games.
Well, sir, what do you guys think? All right, I'm game. We'll figure out the stakes
every 4 games.
Okay.
And I know that there's 17 games, so one of them we'll ignore.
We'll have a bye week.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So we'll keep a running tally. And we'll videotape this stupid act.
And you can watch it on the YouTube channel, I guess.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that sounds good.
All right.
Thought of that right now.
Guys, you better start liking, commenting, and getting this going, because, yeah. So.
We'll have to get to the running back thing next week.
Yes. This ran a little bit long. Well, not the episode, but us getting together ran a little bit longer than we had planned on. Yeah. But nonetheless, guys, this has been another week of the Know It All Sports Podcast. We appreciate you. If you want to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SleepyJ, SLEEP_E_J. Or you can follow Coach Rudy at
RudyV1982 on Twitter. Now, Jay, I don't know why you want all these stalkers, but whatever.
Also, guys, as we said, like, comment, share, subscribe if you see this on YouTube. If you hear us on one of those podcast platforms, hit the rating if it's possible. Hit subscribe. Help share this with your friends, your family, whoever you think that would enjoy our nonsense each and every week.
If you want to donate money, that way Jay can pay for his dog's hospital bills because they get expensive.
Yes, they do.
You can do that. There's nothing particularly wrong with the dog, but hospital bills are expensive.
Also, real quick, I know we didn't touch on boxing this week.
And we will eventually get to my running backs.
Yeah. Real quick on boxing news, De La Hoya's comeback fight was postponed because he's in the hospital with COVID. And Canelo was supposed to fight in September like he always does, but he actually pushed that back to November. Not really sure what caused him to do that. But that's boxing news. I don't really have anything else to say, so I'm out.
I got a lot more to say, but I'm going to go ahead and keep that to myself. Make y'all wonder. So... All right, y'all be easy. Enjoy your week. Enjoy the games this weekend. And we'll see how this
first week goes.
went.
Yep. All right, take it easy.
Deuces.